3, 2, 1, action.
I wrote MapDot for a lot of different reasons, but the most important reason is because in so many interviews throughout my whole entire career, one of the questions was always, when are you going to move to Nashville? Not, are you going to move to Nashville? It was when. And I started to get frustrated that people assumed that I had to do that to be successful, because I've lived right here in Rocanville for the last 10 years and I'm happy, and I'm also pretty happy with the amount of things that I've been able to accomplish in my career. So I wanted MapDot to be an explanation and kind of just show people why I love this place and why I'm here, and encourage people that they don't have to live in a big city to be successful.
One stop sign, one bar with one good beer light. Easy to love, hard to find. Got a real good man that I call mine. You might not see it, but everything I need's what I got. Oh, in a tiny little map.
It looks absolutely stunning, and I've never wanted to just keep shooting and just straight inspiration by how great these shots look.
It's cold. It's cold. You know, we finished our last scene in bed by 9. Cap up at 6.
If you're ever in Rocanville, Sask, Hale's Bakery. Top notch.
I always had a vision for this video being shot here in Saskatchewan. Nothing else ever crossed my mind. There was no other place that we could shoot this video. It had to be real people, it had to be a Saskatchewan crew, and it had to be here in my hometown with my family and friends. So this whole video is that, and that was crucial to me.
This town's got my heart and my joy and my tears. I could live anywhere, but it wouldn't feel like here, where it's one long mile off the highway, one downtown closed on Sunday, one main street and one stop sign, one bar with one good beer light. Easy to love, hard to find. Got a real good man that I call.
I feel like this is kind of my moment to show off and be like, look, you guys, you might not always see it, you don't get to live in it every day like I do, but this is everything to me. And it's just really cool that people can not only hear that in the song, but now they can physically see it in the music video as well.
No, we don't gotta lie, but you're gonna wanna stop. So take one long mile off the highway, one downtown closed on Sunday, one main street and one stop
So we're about 50% way through day 2, the final day of MapDot music video shoot. We're here at Maintain, and this is basically the biggest scene in the video. There's an acting scene that is going to happen at the start of the video, and then she's going to roll into Maintain, where she used to actually do nails. Yeah, we're going to have a big performance scene, first verse of the song. It's going to really showcase that home vibe of like Rocanville. Yeah, really excited.
So I met Munz Media through the COVID situation. I was fortunate enough to do a socially distant concert, and Munz Media was there filming the whole thing and doing some interviews and taking photos, and I just loved what they were doing. And kind of right away I thought, man, that would make the most sense for MapDot. So later we ended up working on another project and it went really well, and that project was also filmed on our farm. So we kind of showed them around and we talked it over, and I really think that people don't understand what Saskatchewan has to offer, and I wanted to show that we're not only capable here, but our small local businesses and our companies are really great at what they do, and I wanted to show that I knew that Munz Media could compete with any other video that I've ever shot and any other director. They're just as good and they're right here in Saskatchewan. So it felt like a really good opportunity for me to showcase small businesses like this, but also local companies like Munz Media.
One long mile off the highway, one downtown closed on Sunday, one main street and one stop sign, one bar with one good beer light. Easy to love, hard to find. Got a real good man that I call mine. You might not see it, but everything I need's what I got. Oh, in a tiny little map.
Welcome everybody! Episode 9! Season finale! We made it! We made it through one season. Netflix, thanks again so much for picking us up. Renew us anytime you want. We'll be here. Oh, you said we'll be here. What did you say? Nothing. Anyways, I'm one of your hosts for tonight. I'm Andrew Perry, and I'm joined by the absolutely lovely Bird. Nielsen. There he is. I'm like looking off. Hey, it's all right. It's all right. If you don't know who we are, you're probably on the wrong show. You know. And if you don't know who we are, we're also in the right show because I'm Zach and this is Andy. Anyway, let's get to it. Andy, how are you doing today, buddy? Even better now, buddy. I'm doing pretty good. Hold on, let me catch my breath. Okay. You keep going. So, a lot of times, we're having a good time in the studio. We like to have fun. That's what we do here. You can't spell Munz without funds. So, Andy, question for you. Yes. You're not from here, are you? No, I'm not. I'm from Alberta. Shout out to Alberta. I'm from Alberta. Mm-hmm. Where's this going? Well, let's see where this is going. I'm from Saskatchewan, and our district brewing question of the day is: what is the most Saskatchewan-y thing that you have ever seen or can think of? So the most Saskatchewan thing that I can think of is bunny hug. I feel like there'll be like a lot of answer with that. It's definitely bunny hug. When I moved here, I was in the 8th grade and I just called it like a pullover, like a sweater, and I got hazed so bad from my entire class about it. And I was like a sin here. You can't say that. Yeah, no, it was a sin, and I was penalized for that. What about you, Zach? What is the most Saskatchewan thing that you can think of? Well, born and raised in Saskatchewan, obviously I'm a Riders fan, so, I'm going to go with the classic watermelon on the head. You're not going to find that anywhere else. No. I don't think so. No. So for you, our audience, tonight is the same question. What is the most Saskatchewan thing that you can think of? If you can think of something, punch it into the old comment box that's below where my fingers are pointing right now. And then at the end of the show, we're going to choose a winner, and that winner gets to take home a 4-pack from District Brewing. Nice. And, if you're sitting at home watching the show and you're thinking to yourself, dang, I could sure go for a nice IPA right now. You can use the Bruiser app and sign up online, and you can get beers and spirits delivered right to your door. A little ASMR for you there. Get a close-up of the bubbles, absolute slurping. We like to have fun. So, Andy,
it's just you and me here today. We're just going to be talking here for an hour.
Yeah, it's just going to be the two of us.
Just this going back and forth for an hour?
For an hour? Absolutely not.
Nope, not today.
Did you want to take that one?
You can take it.
Okay, please, everyone in the studio, please give and everyone at home, if you're at home watching the show, put your hands together for our absolutely amazing guest tonight, Jess Moskaluke.
I'm not gonna lie, that was actually going so well. I kind of wanted it to be that for an hour. I'm just gonna be here to watch this happen for an hour.
We'll cut to you for a reaction cam
Yes,
every now
please.
and then, but we can just cut
More
the mic
ASMR,
right now, right?
that was great.
More ASMR, just an hour worth of Zach making small noises as close
That's
as
a lot of
possible.
4-packs you'd have to drink for an hour to just like.
Well, luckily we have the Bruiser app, so we're good
I
to go.
heard. Sounds great.
So, Jess, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
We're
Yeah,
doing
okay,
good.
good.
We're
Okay.
doing
We're
good.
doing pretty
Cool.
good. We're so stoked to have you here on the show.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for coming out.
My pleasure.
It has definitely been a journey with, the past couple years, or the past year. That I guess without.
We're almost coming up on a year.
on the first year anniversary. Wow. That's
That's
cute.
so crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts to think about.
July?
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, late July.
because it was Krugo Fest that
Yeah.
we got together.
That was the craziest thing. I want them to Krugo Fest. If they're watching, I really feel like we could do another one.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
That would be
Honestly,
great.
would love
I'm
it.
down.
Live music, doing anything like that.
Ugh,
Again,
we'd love to get back to that.
It would be,
would be
me too.
amazing.
So I guess that we can kind of start our conversation with live music. Jess Moskaluke, the singer, everyone knows, Cheap Wine and Cigarettes. You do awesome. What was the start of this? What was the start of this journey?
Well, I mean, if I'm taking it all the way back, I just kind of started the same way that anyone else would start literally any hobby. So I just kind of decided I liked to sing, and I sang in my church choir for a little bit, and Mom got a karaoke machine for my brother and I for Christmas one year, and it just continued to escalate. And finally I was entering like talent contests and things like that. And then flash forward, and somebody just I was at the right place at the right time, and I got my first publishing deal and artist development deal in Nashville. Gosh, yeah, it was.
yeah.
I had written like this. I literally accidentally got a publishing deal. I had written not nearly enough songs, and they had offered me a publishing deal to try and learn to write as well, which I did. Yeah. So, and then, just that snowball just kind of kept rolling until I'm here on MunzDays, which is the highlight.
Out of all the things, this is the
piece.
This is
where it
it.
tops off. Juno's here, MunzDays is here.
Yeah, exactly. Season finale, no less.
Oh, then it's up here.
Girl could dream.
So, in 2011, you were on Big Dog's Next Big
Yeah.
Thing, right? I think we have a clip of that. Can we run that?
Really?
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at
Look
her.
at-
Oh my gosh. Hey, it was just Brian Kelly's birthday. That's the bass player. Happy belated, Brian.
Happy belated, Brian.
Happy belated.
Wow.
Yeah, this is what was this like I guess getting to this place in this competition, and also what did it do for your career, and I guess is probably a jumping stone, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, I mean, I haven't seen that clip in so long, or any clips like that in so long. That was at the Pump. So yeah,
Man, okay,
that's
yeah.
pretty crazy. But what I remember the most about that whole experience is that I didn't have a band yet, and so for me to play live with actual musicians, I was so used to singing to a karaoke track that was just absolutely electrifying. And that's probably where I fell in love with music the most, was realizing that chemistry that you could have on stage, and realizing how much I loved working with people, and particularly like-minded people, which is why I love working with you guys. It's why I love working with my band. And I just remember thinking, man, I don't know if I can ever go back to just singing to a track again. This is so
Once
cool.
you get that taste, you can't go back.
You can't.
No.
Yeah, but I had to go to school and stuff, so I couldn't actually find a band yet. I would have been what year was that? 2011.
2011.
Yeah, so I was pretty young. I didn't have all the time for a
Life
band
gets in
quite
the way
yet.
sometimes.
Yeah.
So like, what happened from there? So like, you do this competition and you win it, and like, where did that start to spiral to after that?
Well, actually, quite shortly after that is when what I did was I signed up for the Saskatchewan Country Music Association and just wanted to make some connections and meet with more of those like-minded people, which I did. And I think I was at a jam session at the awards weekend, and there was a writer there who was nominated for an award, but she was from Nashville, and her company was looking to sign and develop new singer-songwriters. So that's actually, it's funny that that's where that went to, but I think that's pretty much the very next thing that happened was signing those deals. And I started, actually from there, I guess I started kind of going in the other direction. It was really strange. I thought I was going to start writing and recording, and I did, but while I was developing my own songs, I was actually going to Denver and LA to start doing some cover material to try and develop a fan base. And that's where things actually really started to take off, was kind of when I started putting out covers on YouTube.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's sort of a strange path. Everyone's path is really, really different. There's no clear-cut like route to have a career in music.
So at one point, did you know that covers weren't necessarily all that you were going to do, and you took that next step and maybe releasing your own music and stuff like that?
I actually for a long time thought that maybe that was all I was going to do, was covers. And it sounds silly, but it was a lot of work. I was still in university full time at the time, and I was flying to Denver for about a week every month. Sometimes also LA and or Nashville. So I was gone like 2 weeks out of every month and trying to go to university full time. So I thought, this is all I can do. I don't have more. I don't have any more time.
In my schedule.
Nothing left.
But it wasn't until there was kind of this surge in Nashville where all of these small publishing companies that were once doing really well started to kind of not do so well anymore, and it was looking like my publishing company was actually going to be folding. And they really had this family kind of vibe, and they were like, we don't want to just leave you high and dry, we're gonna try and find you a home. And they did, and that home was a new-ish Canadian label called MDM Recordings. So we had negotiated a deal, and I'm actually still with that label today. And it was the head of that label, Mike Denny, who was like, we gotta cool it on the covers, because I think that you could be releasing some of these songs that you have written. And I didn't know that they were ready. I wasn't an experienced writer, and he was like, yeah, these songs are ready. I think we can go to radio with some of these. And pretty much from then on, I just kind of did originals.
What was it like to have like a moment of someone like Mike Denny like being like, hey, all these things that you think are rough drafts are incredible, let's take them to record?
Yeah, well, that was super weird, because what I had always thought about recording an album was that like you'd write all these songs and you'd just write and write and write until you had enough songs, and then you'd take it to the studio and then you would record everything. But that wasn't really what happened in my case. I was kind of recording these songs as a demo to pitch to other artists and other labels and things like that. So I was kind of unintentionally recording these songs as I went. So once these songs were done, they were kind of just done. So there was no big grand like, okay, now you get to go and record your first album. It was just like, psych, your album's done. And I was like, oh, okay. So it was cool because it was just very unexpected, I guess. But every album since then was more so okay, now the songs are written, now you can go in and record. So that's cool. But at the time it was insane. Mike was managing a Canadian country artist by the name of Chad Brownlee at the time, and I still am a huge Chad Brownlee fan. And I just thought there's no way that I'm going to be on this same label as Chad, and we're going to tour together and things like that. So, just being a small town girl who, a couple months ago was in university and singing like Nicki Minaj covers on YouTube. Didn't really expect that.
Is Super Bass your favorite cover to do?
Yeah. We should start pulling, if we ever get live shows again, maybe we'll start pulling that one out.
That will be the headliner.
Yes.
so now you get like your first record down, and like you said, is that there's like, it seems like there's a little bit more like space for you to be able to be like, okay, now it's time to like write songs and like getting into the flow of like what your next album was going to be. What was that space like for you?
That was really cool. I almost feel like that next album was actually my first one, because I actually did get to go and choose the songs and write the songs. On my first album, I didn't write everything. I didn't have enough stuff yet because I hadn't been writing for years and years like a lot of other people. But it was cool. I had met a writer named Corey Crowder, and he and I wrote together really, really well and frequently. And I kind of felt like, okay, I need one producer on this album, because on the last album, like I said, it was kind of a little bit of a mismatch of producers and songs and studios. And this time I was like, I want a cohesive project. I want to choose every song from start to finish to have like some kind of a flow. And I want one producer so that it sounds like the same record. And I was having a hard time kind of finding who that producer was going to be. And one day, Corey called me kind of not out of the blue, but he knew that I was going through this. And he had said on the phone that day, he was like, what if I tried to produce it? And he actually hadn't really had like a full album, production kind of experience at the time just yet. And I was like, sure, because the demos that we were making together were sounding really good. And I was like, we can level this up. I think it'll be really cool. And so we did, and that ended up being the album that Cheap Wine and Cigarettes is on. So the first album that he ever really put together from front to back, like, went platinum. So and then he went on to produce like Tim McGraw and Chris Young and Florida Georgia Line and like so many others.
Wow.
That's incredible.
And still me. He's produced everything ever that I've done. Like, that's the coolest thing about him. So we've really gone on a pretty cool journey, Corey and I. So it's
and congratulations on going platinum.
Thank you.
That's a big thing.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So for when Cheap Wine and Cigarettes came out, off the bat, what was your like initial thoughts? Like, did you know it was going to be as big as it was?
No. That song was one of the ones that I had found. Corey found it, actually. A friend of his wrote it. I wish I could say that I was a writer on that song, but I couldn't have come up with that. But it actually, the first time I heard it, had a male vocal on it. And so Corey had pitched it to me, and I was like, I love this song. And I had the hardest time, for some reason, wrapping my head around it, because it almost sounded a little bit like a duet. And I kept trying to sing the female part, which was not the melody, it was a harmony. And so I was like kind of struggling with it. And when I finally wrapped my head around it, I was like, okay, this is good. And I remember going into the studio, singing it, being happy with it, and then, thinking, this is really cool. I'm pumped about this song. And then Corey sent me the first like rough mix of it. And I was sitting in my car. I think I just had pulled up to my mom's farm, and I was so excited, and I was going to show her, but I wanted to hear it first. So I sat in my car and I just like bawled. I knew that it was something special. I think that I didn't know that it could be that good. I didn't know what to expect, being that this was like my first time really crafting an album and Corey's first time, and we had a lot riding on that album, and we were really excited. So to hear a song for the first time turn out exactly how you think it should, even after a struggle with kind of learning it, was so special.
And what was it like to like watch it like soar?
It was in retrospect, it's been incredible, but it was really strange, I guess. It's a unique, Cheap Wine and Cigarettes is such a weird one, because although it went platinum, it was actually the first Canadian female song to go platinum since Shania Twain. So it's crazy. Thank you. Oh, but it never went top 10 at radio.
Right.
So it's just so funny, and shows kind of like the power of the fans, and like how much they actually really matter. What you're listening to truly matters, and how much of a support that is for your favorite artists. But going through it didn't go platinum right away. It didn't feel like it was as big as it was until, it was almost that shelf life of that song was done. And then it was kind of like, whoa, this is the song people know me for. This is the song that people are like, chanting when they've had too many drinks in the middle of your set. They're like, skip all these ones, get to cheap wine. So it's been really crazy now in hindsight to see that, and it's what I call a career song. Like, you don't know if you'll ever have another song like that again. I sure hope so, but sometimes just like it's lightning in a bottle, you know.
I think you got a couple on the demos album, so I think you're good. I think so. Do you have a favorite song of yours that you've written?
Not. It sounds so lame to say not really, but I've written so many songs, and I think that if you asked me this song or this question on a different day, I might have a different answer. But like Map Dot is super up there for sure. One of my managers always says, whatever your favorite song is the one you just wrote. It's like the newest one. There's just like some hype about it. But saying that, Map Dot is one of my favorites for sure. Nothing I Don't Love About You on the demos is like so fun and different for me. But I mean, Leave Each Other Alone is really cool. But again, those are like 3 of the newest songs. So she's probably right.
They're right there. They're so fresh. Like all of your like concentrated energy that just went into this last album is right there, and it's so ready.
And it's so rewarding to hear that back too. And I think that sometimes that just like, you know, when you're just writing something, sometimes it's just on a guitar and you're just singing it into your iPhone. And so you're like, yeah, this is really cool. And then you hear it back fully produced, and then it's taken on its own complete life, and it just makes you love it that much more. So I think that's why the new ones sound, you know, they tend to be your favorite, but they're not. I don't really have a favorite. Right. It's like picking a favorite child, I always say. I assume you're not supposed to do that.
No. I don't think so.
I'm
not a parent, but I am a brother, and so I feel like if at any point my parents are like, yeah, your brother is definitely the like go-to, I'd be like, yeah.
I mean, I got 2 dogs, and I'm not going to choose one over the other.
I was going to say the same. Yeah, I can't pick a favorite dog, and there's only 2 of them, so there's like hundreds of songs.
For like with this last album, I guess should we take a break before we get into the new album?
Sure.
We should take a break before we get into the new album. For those of you who are also watching right now at home, if you have any questions for Jess, you can throw them down into the comment bar, and then we'll be able to pop those through, and we can ask Jess that. But for right now, we're going to take a break. And
what do we got for this break, Andy?
Well, it is round 3 of Zach and I's photo challenge series. Both Zach and I are 1-1.
It's been clean fights all the way around, and I think that this one's going to really just show who the top photographer is. But hey, no pressure. No pressure. Make sure to leave your vote on the poll in the Facebook, and enjoy.
It's rolling?
It's rolling. Wait, let me double check.
Welcome back. This is episode 3 of the photo challenge. I'm Andy and this is Zach, and we're here to take some photos with you at night.
Tonight, it's a tiebreaker. We're 1 for 1 in the photo challenge. Zach's won 1, I've won 1, and here we are. We're doing night photography tonight. Our only rules are...
No rules. No shirt, no service, no rules.
No rules whatsoever. All that we got is that we're out here in the middle of nowhere, and this is our subject for the night.
You ever seen her before?
Me neither.
Because I think I want to break my photo into 3 different parts, a left, a middle, and a right. And the house is going to be in my middle, and then I'm going to light paint on both sides in 2 different photos and then put them together.
All tripod and no plate. Great for night photography.
So I'm just kind of seeing what angle I want best. Because we don't have a tripod.
But wait, Zach. What's that?
So no head?
Oh. E-brake was on.
So, you come here often?
or do you just want to see some good photography? Get on over here. Come look at this frame. This is what we're going for. We got it in the background, and I'm gonna do some fun light juggling, or what we like to call in the industry light painting. All right, so I'm gonna put it on a timer. First off, we're gonna do just a shot of the house. Yeah. Here we go.
Careful.
Nope. All right, so I just finished part 1 of my photo, so I'm gonna go for part 2. So I'm kind of gonna do the same thing, but without the tube lights, I'm just gonna use my phone flashlight. I haven't tried this yet, so we're seeing it first try. Let's see if it works.
Zach!
Whoops. All right, so I just did that part. It's looking really cool. Can't wait to show you guys the photo. The flashlight worked better than I thought it would, and better than I hoped. So we're gonna do a good old switch and see what Andy's got.
Let's get it. Okay, so my idea here, so we're losing a lot of light. The sun, Shiganzo, which is actually perfect for what I want to be able to do. So I wanted to like branch out of my like traditional style of like softness, bright colors, and work on something that's a little bit more prairie gothic. And I think that this house is gonna work perfectly for that. We're gonna flip lenses here. Let's change these to something a little bit more Sith-like. Yeah, we're gonna take these two, change them to red, and we're gonna pop them on the inside. Hey, a little red. So we've got these two dark, creepy. Also, if you guys want to see what it looks like, yeah, just, you know, absolutely terrifying. Quick little basement. Ugh. Anyways, this is how we legitimately get spooked out here. So we're not going to worry about that. Now we're just going to make some spooky in. So let's get it. Okay, it's dark.
Oh.
This looks good. For anybody that can see what I'm going for here, this is it. We're just going to blast that light in there for 30 seconds and see if this gets the effect that we want it to. Cool, let's see what we got. We're close. I really like that though. This is pretty good. Do a bunch of stuff in post for it. Get it here, so that way that whole room is. So the setup, you know, remember how we were talking about no tripod? So we have two cell phones just stacked on top of each other underneath the lens to give me a little bit of lift, because the Jeep is our tripod, and let me tell you, this thing's way more difficult to move than the little one. Let's hope that neither of our phones go off during this shot. Okay, I've got one more request. Zach Nielsen, you're gonna be in this one, I'm gonna film it. Stand square with the door, as if like you were waiting for the door to be answered. Don't move in 3, 2, 1. Hell yeah. Look at that man. This is hands down the scariest frame I think I've ever made. Cool. Surprisingly good. Alright, so we just finished the red one. We got a pretty good shot of it. He's just like poking up the side.
Boom. That's all for photo challenge number 3, ladies and gentlemen.
The tiebreaker, wappa wappa, it's over.
Used to be 1v1, now it's gonna be 2v1. But it's gonna be your job to choose.
So let us know which photo you liked more to choose the winner for season 1.
Season 1, baby.
Let's do it again next season. Da 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 da. You're watching MunzDays. Okay, let's pack
Wait,
up
was it
before I have a
recording?
panic attack.
So that was our photo challenge. Andy, did you have a lot of fun doing that?
Man, I did. You can tell in there, like, there's numerous times that, I mean, you use the footage of me laughing, but, like, every time it's because you would just, like, start doing it out of nowhere and be like, I am so underprepared for these moments. But I did have a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. We had an idea to start off where we had a pin for an abandoned house that we were going to go shoot at.
Yeah.
But when we drove there and like we timed it right at sunset. And right when we got there, we pulled up and there was like a fully functional like working farm with like a bunch of modern stuff. So we're like,
okay.
probably shouldn't take pictures here.
Yeah.
But we drove around for a little bit and we found that little shack and
Yeah.
it turned out pretty good.
It did turn out pretty good. I was pretty happy with it.
Should we show off the photos?
Absolutely.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah, let's pull it up, baby. Ooh, spooky. It is really moody. Honestly, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I like just the red coming through. The one thing that while we were out there that I wish we did do is that there's that top little peak place, and Zach was like, oh, we should climb up there and get a light in there for the shot. And by the time that it got dark and just like it got so scary that we were just like, no,
And
perchance not.
There was wires all over the ground and nails coming out. It wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah, it wasn't gonna happen. Yeah, but I was really happy with like the tones and everything that came through. I think the like prairie gothic elements that like I wanted to bring out landed, and so hyped. Hey, thanks.
I guess we might as well go from A to Z, right?
A to Z. Why have we not said that before?
We've been doing this for too long and missed all those opportunities. Let's put on my picture.
Oh,
So there she is.
Cool.
that's so sweet.
So that's that's 4 different photos put all together. The pink on the grass is kind of one photo, and then the house lights are all a different one, and then the have fun are 2 separate photos just all put together. But I'm really happy with how the light trails turned out from our light tubes, kind of like just above the UN.
Yeah.
Just it looks super crisp and clean, and I'm actually very happy with that. I love those colors, the pink and blue. They popped way more than I thought they would, and I ain't gonna complain.
Yeah, like honestly, even when we were out there and like looking at like the drafts and whatnot, I think both of us were just kind of like how do we get this to punch more color to pop behind it, but to see the final copies of them,
100%.
10 out of 10.
Oh, okay, and we printed them out.
We did.
Here, let's get that there. Ooh, have fun. Because I'm just thinking, why not have fun? You're on a floating rock, might as well enjoy it while you're here,
Yeah, mine's scary.
Well, that was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, put your votes in the poll and we will calculate them at the end of the show.
Calculate. Yeah, we send them all to Chris Schick and he has to do the number crunching.
He's not the funny guy, he's the math guy.
He's the math
He
guy.
puts it all in his head.
He's the math guy. He's a smart one. We got a couple of comments here that wanted to comment on. Michael Bettridge said, "Cheap wine and cigarettes is iconic. Vaguely remembering screaming, singing it with my bestie Des at Craven." Whoa, Des here in the studio.
Des
absolutely.
sounds cool.
Des, you are-
That's awesome. He was probably one of those people that I was saying
yeah.
had too many drinks, which is the best because you always sound way better after you've had too many drinks. So that's cool. I love that.
That's really true.
Oh, we got another comment here from Ray Nielsen. I'm assuming this one's for Jess. Jess, what's your favorite album cover?
Well, Mr. Nielsen,
Shameless plug.
it would have to be the demos, which is shot by MunzMedia, and specifically, I think the actual cover was a Zach. Actually, I know it was Zach's because I I was terrified to take those shots.
we were both sitting in the room, and we were sitting on here. Yeah. She was sitting on this couch, and we were both kind of saying that this was probably the most scandalous photo that either of us have ever been a part of. And now it's on the cover.
So scared.
We're like, oh, we hope we do this right, but I think we did pretty good.
I love it. We actually used way more of those shots than I thought. We were like, it's on the back cover and the middle.
And then the beautiful inside.
Yeah.
But did you have another comment that you wanted to read out, Andy?
I did. The other one was from Taylor Chapman. It was directly about the photo challenge. And it was most Saskatchewan thing is having a photo shoot at an abandoned farm structure in the middle of nowhere, which totally fair, completely fair, 100% fair.
All right. So, demos. How has this been? You know, obviously it's been a tough year. Releasing an album is not an easy thing to do, especially during the times that we're in. How'd it go?
Oh man. I mean, it went really great, but it was not, it kind of reminded me a little bit of how I did the actual first album. Like I was saying, it just all of a sudden I had enough songs done and we put them on an album and it was ready to go. And honestly, that's a little bit how the demos was born. Being that I couldn't really get into the studio since we are in a pandemic, I couldn't be with a bunch of musicians and I couldn't be with Corey to have him produce everything. So what we had done was taken some of my favorite songs that I had written and already demoed, and we put them on an album. So it's so weird how full circle that ended up coming. And I didn't really realize that until this moment when we just talked about the first record. So it's actually kind of cool. There were obviously a lot of challenges that went along with that, and I wouldn't make another album this way if I didn't have to, because I really like the chemistry. Like I said, I like working with people, and I like having that back and forth and seeing it all in the room kind of come to life. So if I can avoid it, I will avoid doing it this way again. But it's so cool to know that it can be done, and that I didn't have to stop making music this year. So some of my favorite songs I just listed off 3 of them, that came from this record. So I'm really, really proud of it. It's so cool just to know how much you can do remotely. And, a lot of this stuff was done in Saskatchewan. Like obviously all the photos and design, that's pretty cool too.
We have a question here from the audience. What performance made you the most scared, or the one where you had a "oh snap, this is legit" moment?
Gosh, honestly, it was the first time I ever got to play Country Girls live. Mm-hmm. It was here in Regina. Was it the Heritage Classic, I think? So in front of millions of people watching at home, and it was literally the first time the band and I had ever played it. And they had like pyro and confetti and all this crazy stuff, and I'm just thinking, sports fans are so loyal and passionate, and sometimes they're a little scary to sing in front of, because they're there for their team. They're not really there for you. You're just killing time between periods or whatever. So but it was a really, really cool experience, especially being that we don't have a hockey team here in Saskatchewan, or I should say an NHL team. So that was pretty cool to be able to sing a brand new song from right here in Saskatchewan to millions of people. What a great question.
That one really makes you think.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, and it's extra memorable now, being that after Country Girls was released, it was a couple months after that song went #1 that the pandemic hit. So I barely got to play that song live, so that memory stands out even just a little bit more.
Yeah, it's probably really solidified there.
Yeah,
for sure, for that energy to especially be attracted to that moment of being there's I have never experienced this, but what is it like to have that much of a fan base with you in that moment?
Yeah, it's crazy, and I think that's why the Heritage Classic specifically was just a little extra scarier, because it's not all my fan base.
Right.
But when it's festivals or concerts or whatever the case is, that's a different thing. That's a camaraderie where everybody's there for the same reason. Everyone's there to see live music. They're there to hear songs that they know they're going to hear Country Girls. They know they're going to hear Cheap Wine and Cigarettes or Take Me Home or whatever the case is. So we're all there with this expectation and understanding together. So that's a really cool thing. And I'm really missing it right now. I remember at Krugel Fest, actually, I had kind of this moment where, it was a couple months after the pandemic started, and I thought, gosh, it's kind of nice to have a break. Like, I feel like I haven't had a break in a few years. And I remember thinking, I don't know, like, do I miss it? Like, what's going on? What do I do? When is this going to end? And just thinking a lot of things, and then going on stage, and there's a moment in the show where I come off stage and the band kind of solos a little bit, and I remember just like bawling, breaking down, being like, I love this so much. Like, it's so cool that we're all here for the same reason and everybody's a fan of country music. And so that felt pretty good, and it's been so long since I've felt that. So
That's kind of how you know you're doing the right thing.
yeah, it's just reassurance in the moment. So it's a really cool feeling. Everyone should get to experience it once, because it's really hard to explain properly. I don't think I'll ever be able to like convey it properly.
Well, it's got to be loads of like adrenaline and excitement, and like your whole nervous system is probably like, yeah, like you said, it's electric. Like that can't be a feeling that you can just attain in any sense of the fashion.
Yeah. If I could bottle it and sell it, I would.
Another, like, I guess, moment that I'd love to ask about is when you won your Juno. Like, what was that experience like?
I was so sure that I was not going to win that Juno that I had like high strappy heels on, and I'm pretty good at walking in heels, but like it had been a long day, and I like sat down, got comfy. I'm like a couple rows behind Shawn Mendes and, a couple rows in front of Alessia Cara, and I'm just sitting there and and I was so sure I was not winning this category that I took my shoes off because, my feet were sore. And I won, and they called my name, and I ran up to the stage barefoot. And I think that's what like most of my speech ended up being.
I think we actually have a clip of that.
Oh, good.
Of the
Good.
Junos, if we want to roll that.
You know what? Strangely enough, I'm fine with that too. Let's honor those nominees right now. Let's roll them, please.
Country Album of the Year. The Score, Aaron Pritchett. Hearts on Fire, Chad Brownlee. Side Effects, Dallas Smith. Tin Roof, Gord Bamford. Kiss Me Quiet, Jess Moskaluke.
Okay, and the Juno for Country Music Album of the Year goes home with... Kiss Me Quiet, Jess Moskaluke.
Yeah, she's also shocked. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can take it. I'm shaking. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. This is my first Juno, and probably the coolest thing I've ever done. I didn't even put shoes on. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much to my label, MDM and Universal, as well as my agents at UTA, because without them, I would not be able to tour Canada and meet all of you fantastic people. And without the fans, the Canadian fans, I would not be able to have this job. Thank you so much for supporting Canadian music. This is amazing. Thank you so much. No, I was not prepped. I didn't even prep enough to put my shoes on.
That's amazing. What was that moment like?
It was so crazy. I'm also, I don't know if you guys recognize the people presenting, but they're both from Letterkenny. And I, at the time, was a massive Letterkenny fan. And we had been chatting with them throughout the weekend. And in the beginning, neither of us really realized who the other person was. So it was kind of funny because I remember, I believe his name is Nathan. And I remember him watching me walk up to accept my award, and he was like, "Oh, cool," and then he was like, "Oh,
it's you!"
Oh my god! It was like, it was the coolest thing because we were both like, "Hey!" It was in that moment that we're like, "Hey, you're the girl from you're the guy from." So that was pretty cool. But I mean, like a Juno, man, I'm still, it's been years and I'm still pretty speechless about it, just to have that acknowledgement from your peers. Like, I'm just doing something that I really and truly love to do, and I get to do it, so that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like, people try their whole lives to do exactly what I'm doing, and that's the win. And you know, everyone always kind of thinks that it's so cliche when you say things like, "Oh, just being nominated is the win," but it really is. And then to actually win is just something. I was also the only female in that category.
Yep.
And you know, country music, although it's getting a lot better for women right now, at that time, like, that was not a thing. Like, girls just didn't win Junos in country music then. So yeah, it's still pretty crazy. I can't believe it was me.
So were you just like up all night after that, or?
No, I think I probably went to bed immediately. Like, that was enough excitement. I was wiped.
I guess it would be very exhausting going from,
it was
100%.
I was sleepy.
Wow.
I was a sleepy girl after that.
Yeah, that amount of like an energy. Like, spike, like, all at
exactly.
once.
Going from 0 to 100. And
It's just like adrenaline, and then you actually do just crash. And then the other thing that nobody talks about is how many interviews you have immediately after you wake up. So I was like, oh man, now I can't be like hungover.
No.
Now I have a lot of work to do tomorrow, which is great. It was fine.
That's amazing though. Like, it's amazing
So-
to have that. And like, I think like you've become a part of like the iconography of what Saskatchewan represents, right?
gosh.
Like, I
Thank
feel like
you.
that's something that feels like Saskatchewan has this tendency, and I love this about it, is that the second that like it's brought up anywhere, is that like the entire province just feels like really happy and excited to hold that high, and you get to be like that representation in country music for Saskatchewan, and that's incredible.
Yeah, Saskatchewan does an amazing job at really claiming their artists. Like, they're so proud to actually just like literally say, yeah, she's from Saskatchewan, or like, my cousin went to school 20 minutes down the road from her. Like, we're just so connected in so many different ways, and I'm really proud of that.
Everyone knows someone who knows someone who knows someone's dog who knows someone's band.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the greatest. Yeah, that's a great thing about Saskatchewan.
Yeah, I know. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite place.
What does it mean for you to come from Saskatchewan?
I mean, for me, like I said, I love working with people, and there are really, really great people here. That's the biggest thing to me, is that just to grow up in Saskatchewan, it's a collection of small towns, and that's a lot of small communities. And I think that that's kind of been a really important lesson for me in the music industry, is that, I mean, Miranda Lambert said it best, everybody dies famous in a small town, and it's very much that way. You always have to put your best foot forward, because everybody knows every single little step you make, and that's really true about being in the public eye as well. And so I think that it's just kind of, you have to be yourself, but just always be the best version of yourself, and that's just kind of how everybody operates in Saskatchewan, I think.
I know you really talk about it in your song Map Dot, but why here and not somewhere else?
Yeah, that's a really good question. For me, it's again, the people. I mean, my family is all close by. And I mean, I'm on the road for a living, usually. Obviously not really this year, but most of the time,
Right.
most of the time I'm not at home. So when I get to travel to come home, this is where I want to be. Just the thought of me living in whatever, I'll just say Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, anywhere. The thought of me living somewhere else in another city just means that when I want to see my family, I have to travel even more, which just means less time with them, less time wherever it is that I choose to call home. So this just made the most sense. And it's kind of funny. I did an interview today with Ty Bentley, and he had kind of said, do you feel like the demos was an I told you so moment? Like, look, I can make an album from wherever. Like, I was in Brokenville, Saskatchewan when we made this album.
Right.
And I said, well, yeah, but I've been kind of playing the quote unquote his words, not mine, I told you so card for years. Like I wrote MapDot about that. So you really can do anything from anywhere. And I think it's just really important to just be wherever it is that makes you happy.
That's a really important
awesome.
thing that I feel like not a lot of people get to hear a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Is just that idea of being like, go wherever makes you happy. I also feel like Saskatchewan, a lot of the time, people who are growing and like emerging artists immediately do leave, and like, you know, they take off out of here, and then they become the Toronto star or like the Vancouver you know, actor that did so on and so forth. But it's not as often that we do get work in Saskatchewan for people to really like stay here and want to build that foundation of like a lot of industries to be able to be like, oh, there's enough room for you to be that person here in Saskatchewan.
That's really true. And I think it's also kind of cool, like listening to you explain that aspect of it. It's kind of cool that like you guys have done it at Munz Media as well. It's like, hey, no, we're in Saskatchewan and we're fantastic. You know what I mean? It's not like we started in Saskatchewan, but oh, don't worry, we moved on to Vancouver or wherever. I'm being hard on Vancouver. I actually really love Vancouver. I don't know why I just keep going to Vancouver.
I think it's because it's where everyone goes.
It's
right?
where everyone goes.
Like they're like
or Toronto or whatever
Toronto,
it is.
Totally.
Like I just feel like everyone knows so many friends that just went, no, I'm leaving this place. I'm going to Vancouver.
Totally.
It's like, sick for you. Don't bash this place as much as you are, though. You don't need to.
It's really true. And I think that we can all, you know, we're all doing great jobs in our fields, and we can continue to like contribute to the infrastructure here. So that's kind of cool.
That's what I would love to see more of, honestly, is more people staying here. So that way we can get to that place where there is that growth bubble.
Someday someone will say that about Regina.
Yeah.
Oh, they started in Vancouver, but
now they're in Regina.
The Green City.
Someday.
That's a big hope, and I am also there for that.
Yeah, and you can't shoot in abandoned houses in Toronto, you know?
You can't.
Well, I'm sure
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
It wouldn't be the same.
It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same.
No, it wouldn't be the same.
No, it definitely wouldn't be the same. Okay. Yeah, all right.
So Jess, what's next for you? What do you got going on?
Well, I don't know, man. This is such a weird year. Usually I'm like, well, we have what can I actually talk about? Well, we collectively, us at Munz and Jess Moskaluke, shot a bunch of COVID safe, all healthy and stuff environment. We shot some virtual shows, so I'll be putting out, we have one coming up on, I think it's Wednesday. They each have like their own little theme, so those will be coming out every couple weeks. That's what's next, I think.
That's exciting.
It is, because I love playing shows and I don't really get to do it very much now. So yeah, this has been such a weird year. Like every other interview I'm like, well, what's next is, and then rattle off a bunch of stuff. And this year, it's a hard question to answer, and I'm really boring. So, sorry.
I don't think that you're boring, so don't worry about that. There is a couple of more pieces. We can still get a couple of comments in for the district brewing question of the day, which once again was, what is the most Saskatchewan thing you can think of? Jess, what's yours? What's the most Saskatchewan thing that you can think of?
I mean, you guys made some really good points. But actually, I will say that Regina's getting real good at beer. Honestly.
Whoa.
Yeah. Let's check that out there. I think that I have some of the district stuff in my fridge. I don't have that one. But I'm going to say that because beer is pretty Saskatchewan. We're more than just Pilsner now.
We are more than just Pilsner now.
That could be Regina's slogan.
Regina, more than just Pilsner.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put that on our welcome sign. We'll have it on our license plates and stuff.
I can't
like
wait.
That. People would, yeah, that would be good.
Pilsner's gonna hate me.
Should we grab the final series? We can get the final series of that, and then we can go through
the tally for the vote.
Oh, I have the tally.
Oh,
this is big. Does everyone want to give a drum roll?
This looks very official.
This is a very official piece of paper. This is with 7 votes, me And with 11 votes, Zach Nielsen. Hey! Zach Nielsen, everybody. We get to choose.
I don't know what to say. I didn't even wear shoes.
Guaranteed he's been thinking of that all week.
No.
He's more prepared for that speech than I was.
It was the fastest draw.
Let me do everyone a favor and put these back on.
Thanks, buddy.
Do we have any more comments?
I've got a piece of paper over here, and there is nothing left over here unless there was something else.
It's just a blank
from the
piece of
team.
paper.
Oh, there's one coming. We're getting it from the production team. Cut to the production angle.
Tanner, can you pull that up?
Whoa!
Look at them. Look at that IPA.
Oh, we got IPA over there. We got the stream on one. We're writing tons of stuff down. This is our team. This is what it looks like.
Look at all those comments on his phone.
At the end of, or during every show, this is what the team has been like operating to be able to make these happen. And
So let's give a round of applause for them.
Absolutely.
Everyone at home too.
Yeah, everyone at home too. Actually, I really hope that there's people that are watching it together that are
also
like
clapping.
there's 2 or 3 people that are just like, oh, this is nice. Okay, we'll wait for those comments to come and roll in, and that's for the last piece of there. No.
Oh,
Sunsets.
that's too bad,
Land of the Living Skies.
Oh. Flatlands. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
That's true.
You know, they say you can watch your wife leave you for 5 days, right? Isn't that what they say?
That's
Yeah,
it.
I think
Or
so.
dog run away. Dog run away.
Watch your wife run away for 3 days. Incredible. We'll get those through real quick here. But for everyone here in the studio, can we give another round of applause for Jess for being on our season finale?
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming in. It's
Thanks
been
for
an
having me.
absolute pleasure to sit here and chat with you.
Same. What are we going to do next?
Man, who honestly,
That's our running joke. Every time we
Yeah.
leave a project, I'm like, this is
So
funny. I'll
what's
just
next?
hire you guys for something else next. So what's next? Oh, is that the paper on what's next?
Yeah, here I have in my hands is the paper for what is
Our next
for all of
project.
us. But okay, we have 5 responses, and then together as a team will choose the one that we think is. Now, this is the things that are the most Saskatchewan that people can think of. Andrew Cretan says playing beer darts, then heading to Whiskey's for a Jess show. Whoa.
That's pretty Saskatchewan. That's a good throwback. Yeah.
Did you played at Whiskey's?
Yeah.
on Sunday?
Yeah, a lot. I actually kind of missed most of the bar scene. Like that clip we watched was at the Pump, but I never really played. I think I opened for Dallas Smith one time, and then every other time I played the Pump was for a competition. But I did play at the Whiskey a lot, and it was a lot of fun. I had my very first video release there.
Really?
Yeah, my grandma came and drank everybody under the table. It was the best.
That's awesome.
Most unsuspecting moment to have.
That's the most Saskatchewan thing.
That is honestly I would take that. For
The grandma who can drink everyone under the table.
Yeah.
Don't even try.
Shout out to Diane.
We have next bright yellow canola fields and clear blue skies.
Yep.
So that's really
okay,
big.
Okay.
Ray Nielsen. Bunny
out.
hugs and toque.
Mm-hmm.
Toque.
I'm surprised I'm not wearing a toque right now. Honestly, that's my
You're
go-to.
usually the big toque guy.
Big toque guy, and you are
The big film guy.
right. Amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
Follow
Hook a
Zach
follow.
on Instagram. Taylor Chapman says photo shoot at an abandoned farm. Honestly, I would take that too. And then Noah said mini sticks at a hockey tournament.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Yeah, respect. I think
Yeah,
it might
honestly,
be mini sticks.
Yeah, absolutely. We think I would take mini sticks in a heartbeat on that one.
2 versus 1.
What was yours? You say you
I was gonna. I would probably say I'd either the photo shoot in the abandoned house
Abandoned farm.
or the canola.
The canola's pretty good.
But also you could probably find bright skies anywhere else.
not this good.
Not this good.
We're the land of the living sky.
Land of the living skies. Read it on the plate.
Okay, so that goes to Noah James for the mini sticks at a hockey tourney. Noah, we'll
We will
find
be
a way.
reaching out to you to get you that 4-pack of beer that you deserve. And boy, does it taste good, and do you deserve it?
Wow. You
But
should be
if
on a
you didn't
commercial.
win, you could just go on the Bruiser app and get some yourself. And then you're still a winner.
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, this was the season finale. Season 1 of
MunzDays.
Thanks so much for everyone who has tuned in throughout the last 9 episodes of this. This has been a rocket-filled fuel ride. A rocket-fueled thrill ride. No. Everyone understood what I meant.
There it is.
A rocket-fueled thrill ride from start to finish.
There you go. A huge shout out to all of our guests. And Jess, thank you for being on our finale here. This was great.
you.
A lot of fun just sitting around talking.
I know, it's so nice. Thanks for having me.
Hopefully we can get together and do this again. Maybe we knock out a couple projects or two.
Sounds great.
That's what we do, you know?
Yeah.
That's just what we do.
That's how we usually hang.
Yeah.
From all of us here at Munz Media, thank you so much, and we'll see you for season 2.
Bye.
Roll it!
Roll it! Roll it! Roll the clip! Roll the music video!
Okay. This is it.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
It feels good to be home.
We don't have a cop, cause we don't need one. But we got a beauty shop, cause we need our hair done. Yeah, the building is old, but the rumors are new. And if you need a bouquet, you can get it there too. We don't have a cop, cause we don't need one. Where it's one long mile off the highway, one downtown closed on Sunday, one main street and one stop sign, one bar with one good beer line. Easy to love, hard to find. Got a real good man that I call mine. You might not see it, but everything I need's what I got. Oh, in a tiny little map time. Sometimes we leave, but we always come back. And if we had a billboard, it would probably say that this town's got my heart and my joy and my tears. I could live anywhere.